These are trying times. When President Metsola invited me in September at the high-level week of the UN General Assembly, the world felt already chaotic. I warned of a make-or-break moment for our multilateral system. Today, only 40 days into 2026, Venezuela, Iran, Greenland, on top of Ukraine, Gaza, Sudan, and so many crises more. The international order is not only under pressure, it is under attack. And we face a new and more troubling kind of crisis. Conflict waged not even under the pretense of self-defense or respect for international law, but often carried out in open defiance of it. At precisely the moment when we most need cooperation, most need the United Nations, powers, even those who have a special responsibility to protect peace and security, are pulling away from it or even outright attacking it. This geopolitical shift towards a world where might makes right contradicts more than a century of hard, bloody lessons which people of this region remember all too well. Rules and standards drawn from these experiences, which were believed to be set in stone, are now openly questioned, dismissed, or violated. History teaches us that large systems rarely collapse in one dramatic moment. They rose slowly, rule by rule, commitment by commitment, with those who should defend them rather staying silent, until one day what seemed permanent simply vanishes. 4 years ago, in February as well, I went as a European, as Germany's foreign minister, to the UN General Assembly, calling for the UN to stand up for Europe's peace. Today, I'm coming as the President of the General Assembly of the United Nations to Europe, calling for Europe to stand up for the United Nations. Because the world needs the UN. But right now, the UN and its principles, as enshrined in the Charter, needs the world too. It needs Africa, it needs the Americas, it needs Asia and the Pacific, it needs Europe, it needs you, to form a cross-regional alliance to protect and defend and champion the Charter and the international rules-based system that benefits us all, individually and collectively. First and foremost, dear colleagues, it needs us, it needs you, the EU, to defend the truth. As we are living in a world where fake news, falsities, mis- and disinformation is everywhere. We see it on social media, on TV, we hear it in parliaments, in speeches, we hear it in the General Assembly. And we have learned the hard way that it's not only an oversight due to ignorance, but a deliberate attempt to weaponize mis- and disinformation as an instrument of power politics. And we have also learned the hard way that the too often tepid response of just ignoring what we know to be wrong in order to stay diplomatic is not really a success strategy. As Nobel Prize laureate Maria Ressa put it, I quote, "Without facts, you can't have truth. Without truth, you can't have trust. Without these three, we have no shared reality, no rule of law, no democracy, and we can't begin to solve existential problems." But we also saw, as recently with Greenland, that if one stands up for the truth firmly immediately and collectively, it pays off. And this responsibility lies with us. Defending the truth means we cannot negotiate the facts. We cannot go along to get along in the hope that it will avoid a tariff. Defending the truth means countering hate speech and misinformation, including using the power of Europe's integrated market to support UN initiatives on digital and e-governance structures. And, speaking here as a woman, defending the truth means realizing that if 95% of online deepfakes are non-consensual pornographic images, and 99% of which target women, that these deepfakes are no coincidence, but they are deeply systematic to attack women. And this must be taken seriously, as in any other field. Women's rights are not only human rights, but women's rights are an early warning system for our open and free societies. Defending, therefore, truth is not a spectator sport. We are not bystanders who have the luxury of standing on the sidelines while injustice unfolds. Silence is a choice, but so is action. Of course, we all know this is easier said than done, especially when you're faced with blackmail or coercion, threats or intimidation. For sure, no one can do it alone, not the EU, nor Canada, nor Ukraine or the African Union, not India, nor Mexico. We must do it together. And we have seen how powerful we can be when we indeed act together. From the invasion on Thursday to before the market opened on Monday, the EU collectively passed one of the largest sanction packages ever recorded, because it responded as one, with conviction and purpose. But we should not sugarcoat nor forget that we wouldn't have been able to do it alone. I remember very well the late-night calls, the pleas to countries around the world, the call in front of the General Assembly that this is not only about Ukraine, about Europe, but this is about the international peace order, about the Charter of the United Nations. And the world heard Europe's call. But frankly speaking, I will also never forget some of the replies. Where have you been when we needed you? And will Europe be there when we make the call? Today, dear colleagues, the world is calling. It's not only about Greenland, it's also about Latin America, about Africa. Once again, it's about the international peace order. Once again, it's about the UN Charter. The UN needs Europe. And I count on your answer to be a clear and resounding yes, we will be there for our peace, for our international peace order, for the United Nations. I encourage you, as one of the strongest contributors to the UN, especially with regard to voluntary funding, to step up further now, as I also encourage other regional groups to come up with your reform proposals, especially with regard to alignment of the work of the different UN agencies and strengthening of delivery on the ground. And also to not shy away from the overdue debates on the reform of the international financial architecture, not only important for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, but to deliver on the promises to the Global South. I know you don't make friends asking for money. And in German, we even have a saying, bei Geld hört die Freundschaft auf. It's kind of, when it comes to money, friendship doesn't matter anymore. Well, I know that this makes us German not more charming, but as we are living in tough times, we need tough conversation.